What's going on, everybody? Stefan Martinez, Nicholas Gambaro. The Thursday edition is on the air. It's live. And so you see the title. So we're just gonna get right to it. There was trades, and more trades today for the NBA trade deadline. Let's start with something that I was a bit I gotta tell you, nothing surprises me anymore, big dog, because you know me. I cover these things like a psychopath. I don't sleep very much.
Nah,
You
not at all.
but the thing that got me today was Nikola Vucevic going from the Orlando Magic to the Chicago Bulls. Now I saw that and I said, okay, Orlando's blowing it up. We get it. They want to rebuild. They want to retool. They want the roster to look different. They just got rid of Evan Fournier. They got rid of Evan Fournier as well, and they got rid of Aaron Gordon, which we're going to touch on here in a second. But Vucevic surprised me from this standpoint. Is that early in the week you were hearing reports that he was the one guy that in Orlando that they didn't really want to touch. They didn't want to trade him. They didn't want to get rid of him, and they did. And the thing that I looked at and I said to myself, well, wow, that's a bit shocking because that is the guy that you thought they were going to build around. Now he's in Chicago. And you look at what the Magic got back. You got back a young center in Wendell Carter. You got back Otto Porter Jr. and a first round pick, which is not terrible, big dog. But when you see how they were talking about this guy around the league, like, oh, this is the guy that Orlando's going to build around. Like, Gordon was the tradable one. He's been in the league 7 years. He's kind of He has his moments where he's like really freakishly athletic and he can be a game changer. But then he got his moments where you're just like, dude, you just disappeared for a whole 2 quarters. Like, where'd you go? You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't shocked that he got dealt, but I was shocked that Vucevic got dealt. And I'm like, okay, if this is where the Magic are going and you're tearing this all the way down, like I kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised the Bulls stepped up and did what they did because Chicago's kind of in that, you know, developing young players. Do we want to go all the way into the rebuild? Do we keep Zach Levine? I mean, it was just like it felt like a whole bunch of unanswered questions for the Bulls. And I looked at them and I said, you know what? Well, if this is the way that you're going to choose to go, then you got to applaud the front office for making the move, first of all, and you got to think that in the next couple of months in the summer, they're going to go out and get a point guard, whether it be Lonzo Ball, whether whoever the point guard is that they are looking at, they're going to go out and get a point guard. And, you know, the Bulls, we've had this thing since Tom Thibodeau left, and Derrick Rose left, and Jimmy Butler left. Can they get back to what they used to be? Those hard-nosed Chicago Bulls, defense first, good athletic young team. And it looks like they're on their way there with Levine and Vucevic. But the trade deadline to me this year, and maybe this is because we're in a shortened season and, you know, different things were happening in terms of how far teams are willing to go financially. It feels like this trade deadline was rushed. You know, like deals got done fast and furious today. There was no action last night. And the guys that you expected to be traded, now Aaron Gordon, we all expected him to be traded. But the guys you expected to be traded, like Kyle Lowry's name has been in the news for however long. And they didn't, what's up, man? And
What's up?
Toronto didn't move him. Now, I know you listen to a lot of Toronto radio. You listen to it for the hockey, but
Yeah.
I know in passing you had to hear Kyle Lowry. Does he get
Yeah,
treated?
even today during Hockey Central, they were talking about it. Well, this was around noon, so it didn't happen yet, but they were like, it might happen, and they were, talked about it for like a couple minutes. But
Right. And like
yeah, very big deal up there.
he's like a guy. He's like almost like a
And he
god.
was a big part of that championship team.
Right. Yeah. And When you saw his press conference last night, he did everything short of saying, "Well, goodbye, I'm gonna leave." Like this is what it felt like. And then here's the kicker, big dog. They started clearing cap space. They cleared cap space. They opened up roster spots, and I'm like, all right, he's gone. He's gone. He's going. And you started to think, oh wow, well, this really is an end in Toronto Raptor basketball. And when you see as it gets to 245, 250, and there's no move for Kyle Lowry, you're sitting there going, is this gonna happen? Are they gonna trade this guy? And ultimately they didn't. And he's ultimately said, listen, I'm happy in Toronto. If this is how it's gonna go for the rest of the season, I'm okay with it. But this is my question. And Kayla, you brought up a good point. Big Dog, the asking price was crazy. They were talking about they wanted 2 or 3 young players. They wanted a couple, maybe 1 or 2 first round picks. The asking price was insane for a guy that's going to be a free agent this summer.
Wow.
Here's my thing. My thing is Kyle Lowry, wherever he would have gone, whether it's the Lakers, whether it's Philadelphia, he puts any of those teams in the championship conversation. Not that they weren't already, but I feel like if he went to either one of those teams, they would have even rose their stock even higher to say they're in on a championship. But I understand why teams are reticent. Like we talked about it off the air for a different sport, but in hockey, but it's hard when you're dealing with a pandemic. You don't really have the financial resources. A lot of these owners were hit hard by this pandemic, having no fans, having no, extra income. That's a lot to ask for owners who, yes, they're billionaires and they have money to ultimately say, we're going to do this. And, the fact that Kyle Lowry is making $30 million a year, who's making $30 million a year, who, as Caleb points out, is 35 years old. I don't know if I would have done it either. I just don't think it makes sense. It's like, you like an older player in hockey or in baseball, and you like the guy and you think he could help your team, and then you realize, damn, we got to do all that for that.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm out. And I think Toronto knew that. I think Toronto knew that they couldn't get the offer they wanted, so they just punted. They basically punted, Big Dog. If you're asking me what I think happened in Toronto, is they tried to get somebody to give them what they wanted, and they didn't get it, and ultimately they walked away. Like when you got 2 guys, I'll use this as an example. Like Pat Riley is like Lou Lamoriello. You're not gonna get nothing past Pat Riley. There's a reason why he's Pat Riley and everybody else is everybody else.
Right.
Okay? You're not gonna try to out Pat Riley. That's not happening. I applaud Masai for trying, but that wasn't happening. And I kind of got the sense that it's like, Pat Riley's like, y'all been here 100 years, dude. I've been doing this since, you know what I mean? You was in diapers when I was winning championship with the Lakers, bro. You ain't out Pat Riley. And look, he still ended up with Victor Oladipo, which I'm like, okay, if Victor Oladipo's healthy, then Miami is one of the best teams in the East. But it's just like it felt like today, Big Dog, everybody decided, oh, let's overplay our hand. And I didn't get it. I didn't get why everybody decided that this trade deadline was going to be the deadline that you overplayed your hand. Like, you got a tradable commodity. He probably ain't going to resign with you, not at 35 years old. Trade him. Get what value you can get for him. You're not going to get no first round pick. That's nuts, but do what you got to do. And then the kicker for me today was like, well, does Masai being a free agent at the end of the season, because Toronto hasn't given him a contract extension, the GM, is Masai trying to set the Raptors up for the future so that when he leaves, they're already set up for the future? And I'm like, that's plausible to a degree. But like when you're leaving a job, you don't care about the future where you left. You're leaving the job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not like if you started another show with somebody, like I wish you success, but I'm no longer a part of it. Like I'm done. Like there's no does he set them up for the future? If Toronto doesn't give him a contract extension, first of all, that is a joke because he brought you Kawhi Leonard. He helped you win a championship. Masai Ujiri should be re-signed by the Raptors, but what the hell do I know? I'm just a bozo behind the computer talking about sports. But you're big on loyalty. You're big on that. You're the big loyalty guy. Oh, I'm loyal. Oh, you gotta love your guys. That's you. Me, I'm the cold-hearted one. I get rid of I get rid of.
Yeah, you don't care.
I don't. But for you, the loyalty guy, you got to be like, listen, man, you better give Masai any amount of money he wants. He brought us our first chip. The fan base will probably riot if he.
No doubt.
Like you would be if you were a basketball Toronto Raptor fan. Big Dog would be outside of the Air Canada Center with a friggin' with a sign. If you don't re-sign Masai, we riot. We riot. We literally go to the Air Canada Center and riot.
Well, now Scotiabank Arena, but I knew what you meant. You went old school there, the Air Canada Center.
Whatever the name is, the Scotiabank Air Canada Center. We riot. If Masai and I don't blame Raptor fans for feeling that way, but they want a Thibault Maxey and two. That's a little nutty. That's a little nutty for a 35-year-old who's going to be a free agent in like 4 months.
Right.
Masai, I respect your gangster, but fam, you like. What you doing out here, fam? Why are you trying to fleece people like people ain't got jobs? Like you bugging. And then I hear all I was waiting for was well, LeBron's now heavily involved with the Lakers. He wants the Lakers to pull the trigger. And lately, if you notice, LeBron's kind of been in the back, like, let me let them do what they do. Because if it doesn't work out and I get blamed for it, it's my fault. So let me stop pushing for said player and let me just play. Because a couple years in Cleveland, he started pushing for certain players on the roster and he wanted this guy and that guy. And then you realize it don't work and you're like, they're going to end up blaming me for this. So let me just, let me distance myself from this team because I don't really want any of that drama. It's kind of true. And and I'm like, okay. I mean, Aaron Gordon to Denver, I like it. I like it. I think he helps them. But like I'm gonna say this big thing, you're probably gonna laugh, but it's funny. Danny Ainge, do you suffer from some sort of sleep deprivation problem? Do you suffer from narcolepsy? Do you suffer from like sleep apnea? During the trade deadline, did you look at Evan Fournier and go, "Oh, my golden ticket! This is my golden." I felt like he was watching Willy Wonka right before the trade deadline. If we get Evan Fournier, we got the golden ticket. We literally nailed it. Danny Ainge, have you watched your team play basketball, Danny Ainge? Have you watched them? No. Have you looked at highlights of them? Have you watched them? The Boston Celtics are as bad right now as I remember them being since pre-KG, Ray Allen, Kevin Rondo, Paul Pierce. That's how bad the Boston Celtics are right now. So Danny Ainge, when you decided this morning that Evan Fournier was going to be your one trade, right? when you woke up this morning and you wipe the coal out your eyes, the great notorious B.I.G. once said, wake up, wipe the coal out my eye. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Who the hell is this? Texting me at 5:46 in the morning. You know that. When you did that this morning and your phone went bzz, 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 and it was the magic calling for Evan Fournier.
Sounds like your phone. There. Oh, look. Speaking of,
when did you decide that trading for Evan Fournier was your only big move? Aaron Gordon would have bring him. He would have. He would have been great for them, big dog. Athletic wing, and could run, could jump, and you give me Evan Fournier. You give me a tool guard. Yes, he can score, but he doesn't give you no size. And then here's the kicker for me that I'm like if I had Danny Ainge, I probably are you whatever you're on? Okay, we got to get you texted. We got to go to the drug. We got to go to the pharmacy, and we got to make sure you're okay. Because you trade Daniel Tice, the only size you had. You trade him for a relatively no-name guy to the Bulls. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But Danny Ainge, you had Aaron Gordon out there for you. You had players out there for you. And you fought it around. And everybody's saying, oh, well, they had the $28 million trade exception. What good is it if you don't use it? You got to use it. You can't just say we got it and then, yeah, we got it. Hey, party. And then you do nothing with it. That's like having fruit sitting in a bowl, watching it go stale. And then you're wondering, hey, I want a piece of fruit. It's so good. It's so good. The fruit you picked was no good. Evan Fournier is no good. That's the fruit you decide to eat. That's the fruit you decide to consume. That one? Really? Danny Ainge. The game's passing you by, buddy, because Big Dog, they went down 25 to the Bucks yesterday. They looked dead until Kemba decides, I can play. My knee don't feel too bad. They were dead. They were dead. I watched the majority of the game. They were dead for 3.5 quarters. They were dead. They were dead. They were like, oh, like the old man that tries to get up.
Yeah.
That was them. The whole game. And then old man River Kemba caught fire. Tatum caught fire. And everybody, yo, we're back. All for it to go right down the you-know-where. Right down there. And then you're like, oh, the Celtics ain't back. They just deceived me into thinking that they were. They're not really back. They're really as bad as we thought. And then, bam! Trade deadline comes. They could have used an athletic wing. Nothing. They didn't even try to call the Kings for Harrison Barnes. They're like, they're not trading them. We're going to try and call. They did a you. They did. We didn't need him. Eric Gordon, we didn't need him.
I didn't need him.
We were okay. We didn't need him.
Nah.
What? I'm sitting on Twitter and I'm outraged, and I'm not even a Celtic fan. And I'm like, I am outraged, and I'm like, that right there is why he's not the same Danny Ainge. Because you can't sit there and tell me, oh, we got draft picks. We got this. We got that. We got.
Right.
Well, you got Ant. You got Ant.
You got not.
You You didn't get ungats.
There you go.
You got air. Yeah, we got air. We can breathe. Whoopee. Woo! We got air. We got air. And this is what you walk away with. Are you kidding? Danny Ainge? I wouldn't be. I wouldn't walk the streets of Boston if I were you. I wouldn't walk the streets of Boston. If I'm Danny, I'm afraid to walk the streets of Boston. Today, after coming up as empty as you came up at the trade deadline, I'll be scared to go outside. I'll be petrified. I'll be like, yo, can I have some extra security? Can y'all put an extra like? Can y'all make sure my downstairs is protected, bruh? Bruh, are you serious, bruh? and then you know I applaud Denver. You do the JaVale McGee thing. You do Aaron Gordon. You got a bunch of good young players in Michael Porter. You got the Joker. They got a squad in Denver, and I like that. I like when teams go for it. It's like, okay, you did something. You didn't sit there like a freaking slug. Hey, it's okay. Is it really? Is it real? And then the other trade that sent me off the deep end, because there was a few of these today. I'm like, so Portland, okay, let's trade for Norman Powell. I like him, nice player, okay, nice player. Doesn't solve your problem though. Doesn't solve your problem. Doesn't solve your problem at all. If you're Portland and you're gonna give up Gary Trent and what they gave up, call the Magic. Call the Magic and see if you could have gotten Aaron Gordon and go with CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard. Because Damian Lillard probably looking at the Blazers like, now, like, you are you serious, bro? Like, you got me Norman Powell. I like him, nice player, but him. And then you traded away Gary Trent, who actually has been playing and shooting the ball relatively well for them this year. Oh my God. You know, watching the Blazers the other day, because I'm watching the Blazers game. I got a sidebar because this is gonna lead me to my ultimate point. I'm watching the Blazers, big dog. I literally got a migraine. I watched the Blazers for 2.5 quarters. I watched the second half of the Brooklyn game. No Kyrie, no KD. James Harden's out there by himself with Joe Harris, nice player. Blake Griffin, old man River can't move, kneecap. Can't move.
Back hurts.
Back hurts, can't move, can't jump, looks old. Big dog, do you know the Portland Trailblazers gave 116 points to the Brooklyn Nets with no Kyrie, no KD, James Harden, who was questionable with a neck injury, who shouldn't even been playing. He's still playing. They gave up $116 at home. I was like,
that's bad.
No wonder why you freaking. No wonder. Oh my Lord! And then Aaron Gordon's here. You don't even try for Aaron Gordon. You're just like, it don't matter. It don't matter. They look like you. They look like you. We didn't need him. We didn't need him. This trade deadline had me bamboozled. I was stupefied by the trade deadline. Stupefied. I use another one. I was gobsmacked. I was like, oh, like this is what you give me today. This take over because I need a minute to gather myself. I'm mystified. I'm mystified. I'm miffed. That's another word. I'm miffed. I'm perplexed. I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, you seem a little Frazzled.
Very much so. Thank you. That's another word. Frazzled. I hope the NHL is much better than this because the NBA today was like that was like a fart in church. That was that
The
bad.
NHL would probably be more quiet, I think, than the NBA. Easy does it there. Hocking all over.
I need a drink. Hold on.
Yeah, take some water again. Relax. Calm down.
And I had to cover it. I had to cover this. Yeah. Yeah, hold on. Hey, Ma. Oh, he got the key. Go ahead, big dog. Let's talk hockey. Let's move on because I have no words. I have no word. Oh, Kayla, thank you. I have a question. This is the last one. So the Raptors decide we're gonna clear space. Big dog, they made 3 trades before the deadline. Think of that game. Larry's happening. It's happening. I get to cover something exciting. They clear cap space. They clear the space, the roster spots for nothing. Nothing. They're not using that. They're not using any of those spots for. What do you need? More room on the bench? Hey, is that what we're saying here? Hey, we'll play with 12 guys. Really? Thank you, Kaylee. You just brought the aggravation level back up to. Thanks. Hey, big dog. What you got for us on like any other front besides basketball? You got anything on hockey? Because I'm over it.
Yeah, I got some hockey. I got soccer a little bit. NHL, a couple things. Buffalo place interim head coach Don Granato in COVID-19 or on COVID-19, protocol. Speaking also of COVID, David Krejci, David Pastrnak. I gotta say it, Boston. I can't say David Pastrnak. You gotta say it with the Boston. And Craig Smith are cleared, so they will play against the Islanders tonight. They spent 5 days on the COVID list.
Okay.
So, some interesting news
Should
there.
this game be played tonight with all those names you just read off? You think this game should be played? You're kind of like, eh.
I really don't like. I love the Islanders when they play and enjoy watching them, but I don't know. Part of me was like, I don't think they should be playing tonight. Maybe give it one more day and then make up the games later at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Flyers are. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I gotta be honest, and there's still time, but I think they're done. I don't know if they're gonna make the playoffs. I mean, there's still possibility, but
whoa, we getting a bold prediction here. Whoa.
I'm just giving you my opinion. I could be wrong, but from what I see, I don't think they're making it. I think they just miss out.
Wow. Kayla says I'm done. Kayla's ready to.
I mean, if they get their act together and not give up squeak of goals and Carter
Hart seems like there's a little something off with him.
And I think Pittsburgh, I don't know, sorry to bring this up, Caleb, but I think with the management changes, I think that's changed Pittsburgh a little bit.
Oh, you wanted to even send a deeper off the deep end? She just told you she's depressed, and you're gonna.
I'm not sure. I'm just giving my opinion. It's like the Mighty Ducks before Bombay. That's a good one. Oh, love those movies. By the way, the new series comes out tomorrow on Disney Plus.
I heard.
To watch.
I heard.
Emilio Estevez is coming back as Coach Bombay, so that'll be cool.
Nice.
A little nostalgia there. But yeah, that division, I mean, it could go any way though, and it's crazy too. Speaking of Boston, they fell back a ton. I mean, remember the beginning of the year, they were at the top of the division for the longest time. And then it was the Capitals, then we took over, and then now us in Washington are kind of jockeying for position.
MP, what's up, boy?
What's up, NP? So, yeah, Boston is interesting too. They got to get healthy first. But I don't know. They haven't been. They were at their best like the first little while of the season, and then after they kind of fell off, and then the COVID protocol happened.
Right.
So
I mean that feels like that's people's like entire storylines this year for like seasons. Because going back to the NBA real quick, it felt like the Raptors were doing that. They got their act together. Why are you doing that, MP? Don't start them up. What's wrong with you?
You know the Islanders are winning tonight, so I'm going with 4-0 Islander win tonight.
Oh, you're going. Oh, wow.
I think we're hot right now. They were just off for a few games. I think they're going to be off. They're not going to have the chemistry all together.
Right.
I think we whoop them tonight.
Whoa. You talking with some spice. I like that.
I mean, you know.
You got it. I mean, it's your boys. A
little bit, you know. We have been good against Boston this year, so I'm still not overlooking them, but
no.
I guess I kind of am if I'm predicting a 4-0 win. But, I mean, it could be a close game, too. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked at that either because it's the Bruins, but yeah, every team that's had a COVID issue seems to. Now, Boston's didn't last too long, but it's still an effect. I mean, look at Buffalo, look at New Jersey. Now, those two are the,
They got it really bad, yeah.
Yeah, and they're also really bad to begin with, but that made it worse. Dallas, one of the best teams in the league because they missed so many games because of COVID. Then the winter storm, with that electricity.
Right, yeah.
They missed a lot of games because of that. But a team like Florida, which is crazy, they had a long break. But because of guys getting COVID, but they're playing unbelievable.
Right. I mean, it feels like teams, because it takes players a while to get back into the rhythm after they get COVID or they've been exposed to it. It feels like
look at football. Look at Cam Newton. It completely changed his season. Pretty much derailed it because he was playing awesome before that, and then
Myles Garrett got it, and then that was it. That was it. He wasn't the same after that. But no, it is a thing. And look, I'm not gonna overlook Boston just because of the pedigree. Like I think the pedigree, it's hard to overlook a team like the Bruins, overlook teams that have been here before, like the Capitals. Teams with some pedigree, it's hard to overlook them.
So they just put up stats on the pregame Islanders stats against Boston this year. 4 wins, 4-0. 13 Islanders had scored 13 goals, only gave up 5. 2 for 10 on the power play.
Wow.
And 8 for 9 on the penalty kill. That's really big. The fact you only gave up 1 power play goal against like Marchand, Bergeron, Pasternak. I mean,
against teams, you can't give them extra. That's like an extra possession. That's like a rebound in basketball. You give them somebody extra possession, they're gonna make you pay. So
Oh, definitely.
and you know, this brings me to the NHL trade deadline because we know some names that are out there, but I don't know any of these teams that you look at and you go, yeah, this team would definitely win it all if they had this, or they'd win it all if they had that, or they definitely jump ahead. Is there one guy in your mind that if this one player goes to this one place, it's pretty much not over, but
I mean, I guess Taylor Hall, but I don't know. No one really I don't know. No one jumps off the page really except him. But
right.
even then, like I said, and he's a terrific talent. Like even if the Islanders got him, I don't think that's happening. But that would be a huge boost. But he's not like a Pasternak or an Ovechkin level type of goal scorer. I mean, he was at the MVP a few years ago, but
I mean, it would definitely be an upgrade for you guys, though. I feel
no doubt, no doubt.
That would be, and I think if you're Lou, you kind of got to monetize what would be an upgrade and what would be an like an overkill, because I don't think Lou wants to overspend. I think he'd be fine if the price was right. I think he does make a trade, but when you hear him talk, there was a report from the Athletic. He spoke to Pierre LeBrun about we're going to be selective. We're going to make a trade if it fits us, but we're not going to break the bank to do it.
Yeah, they're not going to force it, which is good. I still think we have a team to win the cup. Now, is it going to be hard without Lee? That's definitely a major loss, though.
I mean, but I think he knows that, and I think the reason why good general managers do this is they want to temper expectations. They don't want you thinking, we're going to absolutely do this, and then
Lou's very, he don't reveal too much.
And I kind of feel like a team I want to look at right now is Pittsburgh, because I think, like you said, the front office change has helped them. They're playing much better. They can definitely use a big winger in Pittsburgh, according to what I've been reading. So if Pittsburgh's able to get what they're looking for at the deadline, that can set them up, especially with Crosby and Malkin and everybody really coming together. It feels like to me in Pittsburgh. Do you agree with that or no?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I think they just take this year to evaluate. I'm sure they'd be happy if they do end up making the playoffs, which right now I think they do from what it looks like. But we'll have to wait and see. And both of them have a ton. I remember reading their resumes on the show when it first happened, and they have a ton of experience, in the front office, and both have won Stanley Cups. So they know what it takes.
That's good.
And they've been involved in the league forever. So both have played. Although Brian Burke not at NHL level, but he has some playing experience. But Hextall, with being the Flyers' most famous goalie in their history. So
look, I like it. I think experience is what you need.
And the only thing, though, with them is goaltending. And not for nothing, they're probably looking at Fleury and how did we let that dude go? That guy is old, but he can still play. The guy is unbelievable.
When you look back at it, you're like, that's one trade we probably shouldn't have made. We probably shouldn't have made that trade.
Well, they didn't trade him. They left him unprotected for the expansion draft. And he was the first ever player drafted by the Golden Knights. So they're like, nah, you can go, we'll leave you unprotected. And if you come back, cool. If you go to Vegas, cool, I always thought that would be a crazy Stanley Cup final. Imagine Vegas and Pittsburgh. I wouldn't want Pittsburgh in it, but imagine if Fleury ended up playing Pittsburgh. That'd be crazy. But another story too, and now that I think about Vegas, I don't know if you heard. So we know Robin Leonard's been out for some time. He was actually dealing with a concussion. But some people on social media were making things up that he was back in rehab because if you remember, before he got signed by the Islanders, he was dealing with issues and, was in rehab.
Yeah.
That's really messed up to just make up those stories and just automatically assume that that's where he was. But it was reported that he had a concussion and he was out hurt. I don't know. That was upsetting to me.
Like that right there would make me really despise
that reporters would do that.
I have a picture.
That would really make me feel like I don't want to really do this anymore. Like you're gonna keep throwing that back in my face, and it feels like every time an athlete goes through something, the first thing we run to, especially if they have had substance abuse issues or he fell off the wagon again, as opposed to saying, you know what, the guy's probably just hurt. Like let him go through what he's gonna go through, and it feels like so irresponsible now. People making stuff up, if they're actual reporters with credentialed media privileges, they should not be able to report anymore because that's just crazy. Now, if it's fans doing it, well, then what can you that's even more crazy.
Right.
You feel for a guy like that. You really do.
Yeah.
After as hard as he's worked to get back, you really feel for him.
Yeah, and he was very open about it, and he's an advocate, and which is great. He tries to, he does a lot of good things. So
we saw him in heaven.
Right.
We saw him in heaven.
Right. I that really would bother me. You know what I'm saying? That would really bother me. It bothers me now, and I hadn't heard about it until you mentioned it. But that's really absurd. Like that's crazy.
A little bit.
That's sad, man. Speaking of sad, heartbreaking, and just disgusting news, if you're a baseball fan,
I don't want that.
Eloy Jimenez ruptured his I think it's his bicep tendon, or he ruptured some tendon in his arm today, and he's gonna be out for like 6 months. And he was one of the reasons why I said the White Sox were gonna win the American League, because I'm like, that lineup.
Yeah, everyone's got Chicago. Well, the White Sox.
People tell if that's a casket because look,
Chicago.
You can't see him.
That they took a hit today. That injury's big because he was going to be right in the middle of that lineup, and the fact that he's not there.
Flowers there, man. There's a picture of him there.
That's kind of crazy. I feel bad for them because if they were healthy, that's probably, to me, that's the best offense in the American League. I think it's close between them and the Yankees, but to know that he's not there now, that I was bummed when I read it on Twitter. My first reaction was, "Damn it!" Like, let me see these players all healthy for a little while, and we're obviously not gonna get it. Your former Met, Matt Harvey, made the Orioles look good in the spring training start against the Yankees on Sunday, throwing between 92 and 96. So I'm like,
wow,
Matt,
he might be back.
Matt still got some juice left, eh? All right.
When did he go to the Orioles?
They signed him this year as like a minor league free agent. He got a non-spring training invite, but he looked good so far this spring from what I've seen, and it's like, maybe he found something.
Man, how his career has fallen. I'm just saying, Game 5 of the World
Series. You're not wrong. You go from like Game 5 of the World Series to now you're pitching for the Orioles. Like, I'm not trying to like.
It's bad.
Mike Trout is going to make the playoffs. That all depends.
I don't think so.
on how good Shohei Ohtani is. If Shohei Ohtani can give them 30 starts, pitch maybe 175 to 180 innings, I could see it. But I don't see it unless Shohei Ohtani's healthy, because he's the key. Like, if he's healthy, that lineup's going to score a crap ton of runs. But you gotta be able to pitch, and that's been their one problem since Mike Trout's come to the big leagues, is they have no pitching. Speaking of pitching and all this stuff, so we're getting ready. Like, baseball season's like a week away, and everybody's rounding into shape and in the best shape of my life. And Frankie decides, spring training last week, let me go off. 4 out of 5 games, he goes deep. 3 of these were friggin'
Hope
no
he does that
doubt.
during the season.
He's gonna. And I'm like, if he produces for them the way we know he's capable, this lineup just got a lot more fun because Pete and
Very dangerous.
little bit. Yeah, a little bit. If he can lengthen out the lineup a little bit and give Pete a little bit more protection, they got McCann, they got, you still got Nimmo, McNeil. The Met lineup is not terrible. Now, you look at the lineups of some of the American League National League counterparts, like the Nationals lineup. Oh, ruptured pectoral muscle is the injury for Eloy Jimenez, so his chest peaked around there. But no, yeah. If you look at some of the National League lineups, like you go from Josh Bell, Juan Soto. The Nationals did some things. The national lineup is kind of scary. And if the pitching stays healthy, they're gonna be tough to beat. I like the Nationals. I like the Mets. I'm not as high on Atlanta as I've been in past years. I'm not that high on them this year.
For them for years.
I got a charger.
I don't know. I'm not as high on them right now.
I know I got pictures here of them and the kids.
I don't know. And usually I usually
Dodgers Padres are probably the best teams in the National League.
On paper, yeah. But we got to see how it plays out.
Do you want to put
On paper, yeah, but I don't really know.
the wedding, or you guys in there with him?
I got to see what the Padres do. Like,
You guys.
yeah, they brought in all these names. You brought in Blake Snell. You brought in Yu Darvish. You signed Tatis. And I want to see what it looks like before
No, it's
I'm going to crown people champions. And I can't just disrespect the Dodgers like they didn't win the World Series last year. Like that
Yeah,
team's too
60
low.
game season or not, they're
Yeah, no, yeah.
So
It's the National League is interesting. The National League to me is more competitive than the American League because I'm like, look at the American League and I see the Yankees, I see Houston maybe. I see Chicago before the Jimenez injury today, and I'm like, okay, this could work, but I don't really know outside of those two teams where this changes, and unfortunately, it's kind of looking that way. Like Tampa is interesting because they always are. They always get like these guys that Michael Wacha, former Met. They traded for a couple pieces this offseason, so they could get interesting. But it's like,
It's got a charge.
maybe if everything goes well. So I will say this, and then I want to get to your soccer stuff because I'm intrigued by some.
and by the way, 3-way tie for the Canadian division for first place.
Whoa! Who's the other two?
I guess Toronto's not running away with it after all. Like we thought.
Guess not. Who's the other two?
Edmonton and Winnipeg.
Oh!
All with 42 points.
Oh, Edmonton, we're too young. Okay.
They still ain't doing nothing now, but
Well, damn. Way to crap on their parade.
I'm just giving you my hockey opinion. They're overrated.
Is it because they're too young or they don't have enough?
Yeah, they don't have a team to survive. McDavid, that's it. And Ryan Nugent Hopkins, but other than that, not so much.
Ryan Nugent Hopkins. What a name that is. Say that 5 times fast. Ryan Nugent Hopkins. I can't do that. What a name that is.
Ryan Nugent Hopkins.
Ooh.
Canadian guy.
So what soccer you got for us, man? Because I know you got some
So we are on international break, meaning there's no club soccer for a couple weeks. So Premier League or Champions League, they're off, but there is World Cup qualifiers have started officially.
USA played Jamaica today, did they not?
They did, and they won 4-1. Yep. Yeah, it was a friendly game. So yeah,
I saw that. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, USA with a 4-1 win there.
Look at that. You start talking soccer, he gets a gleam in his eye. Look.
You know. Yeah, that and hockey, man, I could weep. The two sports nobody likes to talk about, but that's all right. It's what makes them special. Well, except on this show.
Somebody bring up the violin. Yeah, we go.
Me and you talk, we talk everything. We don't leave nothing out. Except golf, because that ain't a sport. You know. Right? I mean, you know.
They gotta go.
They couldn't pay me to watch golf.
Like booklet that I wanted to give you. It was given to me by Pastor Randy.
All right, so what do you got?
So I'm gonna go through some scores, and then also there was one piece of news that caught my attention, and I want to know what you thought.
Give me the news first, and then we'll run through those scores quick.
Okay. So, at least 12,000 fans will attend Euro 2020 matches in Copenhagen, Denmark. The Danish government announced today, which is interesting. We haven't heard any European government announce, will fans attend yet or not. And the Danish government officially announced that today. They're the first ones to do it, as far as I know. From what I researched, and the matches that will take place in Copenhagen, the Danish capital, well, they all involve Denmark, but a couple of them kind of caught my eye. So, the first match would be Denmark versus Finland, which is a Scandinavian rivalry. They're both neighbors, so that should be interesting. Denmark versus Belgium. Belgium are one of the favorites to win the tournament. And they've been really, really good for a while, though. They also were semifinalists in the World Cup, although I don't have them winning the tournament, but a lot of people do. And then Russia versus Denmark. So those are all group stage games. And then there's also one round of 16 match, which is a knockout game taking place in Copenhagen.
Wow.
So that should be interesting. 12,000 fans. Well, that, I don't know. We'll see if that stays. We'll have to find out. But
you think it's a little bit too much?
I think it's too much. I don't think fans should be in attendance really for anything right now yet. But, I understand why they want to do it. And for a big tournament like this, because this is honestly almost on World Cup level, the European Championships. So they want to get some people inside stadiums. I don't know. Will that happen all over? We'll really have to wait and see because we still have 3 months till the tournament, and depending
Wow.
on, and not that we're getting into vaccines and all, but Europe, we have to see how the vaccine
Just
rollout
depending
goes
on
and
how fast things
everything.
progress, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. Some scores. Turkey. This one kind of shocked me, and Turkey is a good team, but they beat the Netherlands 4-2. So the Netherlands' first World Cup qualifier, they lose. Now there's 10 of them, so they have time to catch up. But the Netherlands, I'm keeping a close eye on them in Italy, especially in Europe, because those are the two powerhouses that didn't even make the World Cup. So kind of looking out for the Dutch and the Italians, see if they can qualify for next year's tournament. France and Ukraine tie 1-1. Belgium beats Wales 3-1. Slovenia beats Croatia 1-0, which kind of was shocking too, because Croatia were the runners-up in the final against France.
Wow.
Spain and Greece tie 1-1. Italy beats Northern Ireland 2-0. England beats San Marino 5-0. And Germany defeats Iceland 3-0. And there's more matches to come over the weekend, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, fast approaching. And remember, next year's World Cup is going to be in the fall and winter. It's going to go through November and December, which is that's kind of cool. Like, you're going to have the NFL, the World Cup, college football, college basketball, hockey, and the NHL and the NBA going on like all at one time.
Wow.
That's kind of nuts.
A little bit. I don't know how you're gonna watch it all, but I know you're gonna try.
I'm good. Come on, you know. And the reason they're doing that is because it's being held in Qatar in the Middle East. So with the extreme summers they have, they did not want to hold it in June and July. So it's going to be a fall/winter World Cup, which will be unique. We never seen that before in the history. So.
Okay.
I'll watch soccer during the day and then hockey at night. It's a perfect scenario. Don't know how much football I'm going to watch. I mean, I'll still watch. The Jets are probably still going to stink by then anyway, so that don't matter. No comment for that?
No.
You don't want to bring it up. Because we were talking about it earlier on the phone. I was fired up. With the Jets and the forget about it. I can't get into that again.
Oh.
God.
Listen, I want to end the show with you in a good mood. Not you ready to like.
No, yeah. And I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it. All I'll say is, for your sake, I hope it goes well.
Yeah, you really don't, because you want the viewership to go up, and plus, you want me to just blow a gasket on air. So, come on,
I could, but
Hey, can I place an order for delivery?
I could.
It's 2117.
But I really don't want to see you. So I mean,
as the kid said in Big Daddy, the goddamn Jets.
First floor, the side entrance.
Great movie, by the way.
Yep, classic.
You guys have onion rings?
Anyway, man,
Can I get
we got through everything.
chicken burger with
Yes.
onion rings?
All right,
Wow,
So-
we just hit the hour. Gonna hit the hour mark.
we're gonna
Yeah, that's
end it
fine.
here, folks.
You
So
have a diet.
Thank you guys for watching. Remember, we're off all next week, so no shows Monday or Thursday.
I'm putting.
You have 3 different types of
I'm gonna do it now. I'm
What
putting
type
up
of
the
wings? You got-
notice
you got
on the show
boneless, but 2
page
different types or no?
so that you guys are fully aware. But no show on Monday, no show Thursday. and we'll see you guys not
with
this
the
coming
bone
Monday,
zone?
but the following.
Yep, Monday, April 5th.
Okay, so that
Tell your friends, tell your family, share the show,
you get the boneless.
spread the word. We want a lot of viewers for that show, so
What you got?
make sure you tune in.
This is 6 weeks.
Sounds good.
All right.
Brother.
7 is fine. Yeah, what's the sweet Asian thing? Sweet Thai chili. Boom. There you go.